We're live. Oh shit, man. My back is just killing me. Oh, that's good. Wow. Holy shit. Why is my back so sore? I know why it's so sore. Oh, so many topics, so many topics. Is that you, Archie? Or is that my YouTube bot come to find out what's going on? Oh, Linsky UK, man. Hey, it's been a while. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope it's nice over in the UK. I've been to the UK and I know it's warmer than, you've got the Atlantic conveyor that brings you all that nice warm water. So I know it's not, you don't get shitty winters. Maybe up in Scotland, maybe, but not down south. What's the climate like in your area? Like, what's going on with the nonsense? Can you go out if you're not, like, I think if you, I'm not sure if you've been jabbed or not, but because some of the people that subscribe here are jabbed, like some aren't, some are. So like, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's been really stupid. The weather, I'll talk about that in a bit, but it's been really mild. Like, it was 7 degrees the other day, centigrade, and they were calling for us to get like 30 centimeters of snow, and we're like they were way off. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. Mild, yeah. How's the climate like when I talk about the emotional climate? Like, how is a lot of protesting, a lot of bitching and moaning? Like, I'm in a small town here. Nothing is going on. Like, everybody's just basically going about their business. Hey, Archie. "45 Fahrenheit in New York in December," and you're in northern New York, like, I think you said, oh man, I can't remember, Ithaca, or I could be wrong, but anyway. Apologies all around. My memories. Right now, I'm in the worst mood I could possibly be in. I did one of these. I can't even turn my neck barely. I did one of these. You wake up in the morning and you stretch and you do like, and then I just felt something go down the side of my back, like a stitch. Like, it feels right now that somebody literally went in and stitched the upper part of my lung to my rib cage. So when I turn around, when I do that, I mean, I don't know what I did. Slept wrong on my shoulder, I guess. Syracuse, there you go. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, it's been mild, but then next week we're supposed to get to -15 at night, so it's going to be back to winter. And I was thinking about this too. We'll talk about that later on. Got lots of subjects. Rest in peace, Anne Rice. That's why I put the thumbnail there. I noticed that that's a, fairly benign thing to say. Mask mandates in shops, I'd say 10 not doing it. Yeah. I'm glad you had no side effects, bro. I'm glad. And there again, I have no, either way, like, most of my friends here, like mostly everybody on the fire department's been vaccine. Most of the friends that I hang out with have been vaccine, but we've been breaking bread, sharing cups. I literally went up to one of my buddies and just at the fire department, because, we got a pretty colorful sense of humor. And I put my hand all the way down his arm. Then I touched him all over, and then I wiped it all over my face and my hands. You should have seen the look on some of the people. Like, I don't know what to say. Yeah. Yeah, some stores just don't care. Like, it's a personal choice right now in some of the stores. Some of them are complete Nazi Germany. I don't even want to question it. I just put the mask on. I don't even bother with it. I don't need the headache. So right now, I think that right now it's important to pick our battles. Like really, we need to be very careful on how everything's going because it's crazy, and we'll go through that in a second. But yeah, as for the climate, you know, I'm starting to be on the page with that. Like there's two, like, okay, I'll just give you a really quick story. I might be going to the United States driving soon because I was at my meeting the other night, my A meeting, you know, and there's people in there's dozen, half dozen, 20 people in there. And one of the people in there was like, hey, you know, I just got back, you know, like, you know, you tell how you're doing and, oh, I'm doing great. I haven't drank today and all that stuff, you know, AA stuff. Anyway, so she's like, yeah, we went to Vegas for a week. And I know this lady and I'm like, well, I don't think she's jabbed. And so I like, huh? I'm like, well, how the hell did you get to Vegas? How did you get across the border? You know, because I've been told that if you go to the border, that it's almost going to be a hell and a shit show to get across. Not the case. She had a negative test. She got it. You have to do it within 72 hours. Showed up at the border. Hi, no problem to get into the United States. Real problem coming back into Kazakhstan, though. I can tell you that for nothing. So she got down there with her negative PCR, went to Vegas, had a great time, you know, did her thing, gambled, whatever they do down in Vegas. Didn't drink, but came back. And then had, of course, were selected for a special treatment, like I always do get at the airport, especially when I have a big beard, that they had to get, even though they had their negative test that they got done in Vegas, they had to do a swab at the airport, at the border. Now, that was it. That was it. And they were allowed back in. So somewhere in the middle, there's the truth. Like, you know, if you were listening to the mainstream media, you know, if you put your toe on the border, you're just going to spontaneously combust and die, and rats are going to come out of your nose. So, but that's not true. So somewhere in the middle of the truth. So in January, after all of the, hopefully not, like, we'll see. January, I'm going to make a test. So Daryl, if you see it, you're watching this video, if you're going to watch this video later, you might see me in Florida because Mom's a snowbird. She's somewhere in, I'm going to say Hudson. I don't even know if I'm right, or I don't even know what I'm talking about. And I might be going down there. So I'm going to make a test. I mean, what are they going to do? Shave my head? They're going to say, sorry, sir, turn around, go back home. Dumb. You shouldn't have come down here. Things have changed, whatever. But I'm going to give it a shot. Because somewhere in the middle is the truth. You know, somewhere in the middle is the truth. Yeah. Yeah. I'm starting to wonder, man. I see a lot of sites I'm getting pissed off with now because even the alternative sites right now that I go to normally, and I'm like, oh, really? Come on, guys. Really? Aliens in your closet? Come on. You know, get your shit together. We need to really, really, really get to the if it's only, I can't believe I'm just saying this. It's probably just about the Benjamins, you know. Anyway, rambling enough right now. I went through a whole bunch of headlines and I was just like, wow. Like right at the top, I'm like, okay, what are we to do? You know, what are we to do when you watch videos and you see what's going on the planet? You're like, okay, for me, calm, cool, and collected is the way to be right now. I just don't have the time to be insane or lose my shit. You know, like I see a lot of people doing, and you know, I have to pick my battles. You're not really gonna have to pick your. And when I want to preface also this video, you know, with saying that this is an opinion video. I don't advocate any violence. I'm only saying what we hypothesize that could happen if these things were to happen. So whatever I say on this video, YouTube or the YouTube police or whatever, none of it is advocating any kind of violence against any person or any entity or any country. What we're doing is we're discussing here and we're hypothesizing on what would happen or what could happen or what we would have to do if certain things were to happen in a hypothetical situation. There's my disclaimer, and I've covered my ass, I think. It's sad that we have to do that, but you know, the level of common sense out there right now. Well, he said, you know, that, you know, he did this and I saw it on the internet, so I did it and I died, you know, or I lost my leg, you know. Okay, well, you're stupid. What can I tell you? You know, I'm sorry. You know, vet, check, investigate, check everything. Wow. Okay, here we go. What do we do? Well, be calm, be cool, be collected, because we haven't even hit the dark winter that they're talking about yet. Like winter starts on December 21st, if my memory's right, the solstice, and the dark winter and everything we've seen with this variant that's completely a nothing burger, but they're pimping it up that it's going to be the end of the world, because you see other people online already pimping, saying, hey, 50% of the UK is infected, but nobody's dying. They don't say that part. It's just, it's milder and they're all infected. Nothing's happening. But we don't want to tell you that part. We just want to get everybody scared, Yeah, shame I have to. It's true, right? I'm not advocating violence, but hypothesizing makes me realize that we're going to have to go kind of guerrilla. But anyway, I digress. I'm looking at the butthurtness that I've seen out right now, and I was laughing about a couple things. And I just wrote this down because I saw it, and I didn't really know what to say, because I've heard the term before, because I was born in the early 60s. So I've heard colorful language when describing people. And I can't remember if I've ever been called a cracker, but I think that's an American thing, because don't forget, I am Canadian. But when we were in Liberia for the 2 years, everything was American. Firestone, CIL was there doing the explosives bit. That was just an international bit. So everything was American. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, one nation under God, indivisible. I can't even remember all the words, but I used to say that all the time. So when I hear cracker, I probably heard, because when we were in Africa, although we were Canadian, we didn't use certain words. Other people did. So we'll just leave it at that. So when I see words like that, I don't get all butthurt about it, and I don't really think anything of it, because especially as a white person. Now, and because I've been to Liberia, I know about history. I know about the history of Liberia. I know about the history of West Africa. I know, anyway, we don't want to get into that. But what I can tell you right now, that if you're whitey and you get offended by cracker, don't get offended by cracker, okay? Please don't. It's just a cracker, okay? So we'll just leave that one down to bed. Like, please, please, please. There's badder fish to fry than cracker, okay? I couldn't care less anybody call me cracker, because to me, it's not a racist term. So, it's a cracker. You're white. Is that what it comes from? Soda cracker? Is that what it comes from? Soda cracker, like those the Christie soda crackers, the white crackers with the salt on them that you eat with butter or whatever, peanut butter. Honky, yeah, I never really I heard the end term in Africa, like in Liberia, of course, like all the time. It was, but mum from Cape Breton, being at the end of the railway and understanding that it was poor against the rich, not black against the white. I was 9 years old, 10 years old, and I can remember that conversation. Anyway, mom was pretty there. Anyway, human beings are human beings. That's it. I'll leave it at that. Just playing devil. We'll see you in the UK in a few weeks. It's mild, cool, but yeah. Yeah. When you say hi, Linsky, would you say you're talking about the Omicron, right? You're talking about that one, right? We'll see how it goes with that one. I'm of the impression, and just what I've read right now, that it's milder. It's a milder affliction, so that yes, it's more transmissible, but the affliction itself is milder. That's all I've read and what I've gleaned from the internet. Yeah. Okay, I think so. Anyway. And I saw another thing on holiday cheer, and with the Christmas coming, like, I'm just going to say this for myself. For people who are like, if there are people that that don't want to hang out with you because you've not been jabbed or you have been jabbed, because there's both sides of the fence, right? Then that's where you don't go. Like, everybody I'm surrounding myself with this Christmas, and all of the like-minded people in town are both sides of the fence, but we're all on the same side for the overall narrative. So when you hear about the shunning, that the othering, and that you shouldn't do this or that, that's your own decision. But for me, I don't. That's crazy. And of course, the mainstream media is to blame again, doing the vilification and the dirtying and the othering of the unjabbed or the jabbed or whatever, depending on which publication you read. If you go to the alternative media, You'll be told that, don't kiss the jab, don't share joints with the jab, don't share bread, don't share your cup. I have. I'm guilty. And then if you go on the other side with the crazy media, we'll just use that crazy media, alternative media, and they'll say like, don't have the unjabbed in there because the unjabbed are going to make you sick, even though that's not possible. So this is where we are right in it. So you've got both sides of the fence. But from me to you, and through all of my actual physical examples that I'm showing you, is that unless this whole town has been given a placebo and nobody's been jabbed for real, and it's all a ruse, and I'm just saying that out of my ass, and I've been breaking bread with people who are normal anyway, then okay. But in my opinion, because I've heard about, oh, my arm was sore and this and that, or this guy had this and this guy had that, then I'm of the impression that the people who are jabbed here. And I'm not of the opinion, I don't agree with the narrative that if I break bread with my jab brother that I'm going to get sick, because I have and I'm an asshole for that. I will literally take the poison and wait for you to die. That's the way it is. Like, so if as soon as I heard about this, when the first inklings of this shit came down, I was calling some of my buddies and I said, I'm just going to go to the emerge ward and run down with my arms open, make sure I touch everybody, and then just, all over my face and up my nose and in my ears, and to see if I can get this thing so I can get rid of it. That's the type of person I am. Now, that may not be smart. Yeah, it's everybody's personal choice. That's why, you see, that's why all this mandate shit is really freaking me out, because nobody ever come to me like, okay, I was in Africa. There were certain shots that I had to take. Cholera, yellow fever, I think diphtheria, a couple of others. I can't remember, but that was way back in the 70s. But nobody ever came and forced you to get a flu jab. So I'm wondering what the big deal is with this one. Like, what's the big horn on? Like, why are you guys so horny? Why do you got such a boner for getting the whole planet jabbed, when you know that the mathematics alone say that the children don't require it? So something is wrong. Like, and once again, if I want to show you my Vax card, it's full. So, and I am going to be looking more into other things that have produced themselves in the long run, in the long term. Other companies that come out with things. We'll see what happens. But to vilify and to shun a whole people over a holiday, yeah. But there again, it's crazy. They're doing it to us. Don't listen to any of their bullshit. Don't listen to their bullshit. Go enjoy your holidays with your family, because what they're doing right now is they're shunning, they're othering, and it's the first start. We got the dark winter coming. If anything comes of this Omicron, and for whatever reason, the mainstream media is going to try and pimp it up, so they're going to try and drive an even bigger wedge. And from what I gather, there's something else in China right now that's taking over. So I'm like, oh crap, another one. We haven't even hit 21st of December. We've still got winter to go through. And I'm sure these guys have got all kinds of freaking cards in their deck to play. So we'll have to see about that. And right under there, I'm like, okay, total control grid, segregation. That's what I'm seeing in the mainstream media right now, is a lot of segregation. Infertility. We'll have to see in the long run. We'll see. I know of 2 women in this town who were pregnant, who received the inoculation, have had their babies. Both of them are firefighter wives, and they're doing okay, and the babies are fine. So I'll tell you that. That's 2 people that I know of, and that's it. That's all I can say. That's all I can say about that. But that's after the case. I don't know if all the 12 to 15, like, this is the same thing with Gardasil, right? I don't know what's going to happen down the line with fertility and all that. I don't know. I have no idea. Let's watch. Just like with thalidomide, let's see what happens. Oh shit, babies are being born without arms and legs and half bodies. Oh shit. We'll have to see. That's where I can leave that. You think, look at the profit the companies have made since this shit show. So we know they're making a lot of money. And this is all like fantasy money, right? It's like, okay, we're going to supply your government with bleh, and you're going to give us bleh. And it's not like you're going to Walmart or something like that and you're using dollars. This is big plays. So, you know, and you hear about it that a lot of the companies, the pharmaceutical will hold countries hostage for medicine. Oh, we want, you know, 2% of your GDP, or we want you to control your forces, or whatever. It's all, and that's, once again, I'll reiterate and I'll say this. I don't care. There are no more countries. Yes, they're on the map. It says Canada and America and, you know, France and all that shit. And there may be some countries that do exist, North Korea. But, you know, the reality is the corporations run the planet. If Firestone can go to Liberia and set up shop and basically rape the country for everything that it's worth, because the tin pot dictators put into position to allow Firestone to do that, that tells me the corporation runs roughshod over everything. I saw what they dumped into the river. I swam in it with the Firestone big whoring gobs of shit rubber that they used to just disgorge into the river. It's pretty horrific, actually. Yeah. So there you go. It's money. It could be just money. I really hope that it's not a, well, you know, of course I hope it's not a culling. Because in my opinion, the people that are being culled are the wrong people. The people that should be culled are the greedy, psychopath, sociopath, avaricial people who don't do anything for free. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Wow. That's a lot of money, man. 20 pounds per jab. Not $20, especially not Canadian dollars. What's that worth? Like 6 pounds? You know? Wow. 20 pounds per shot. And what is it? 60 million in the UK? I don't know your population, but I'm just guessing. So that's 60 million times 20. Well, that's a lot. That's 180 million. And that's just for one jab. So if you double and you triple and you quadruple and then you booster. Oh, wow, man. Wow. Wow. Yeah, like, wow. Like, wow. Like, wow. Shit, I wish I could have got in on that. Free money. You know, and if I was them too, I would just be pumping salt water with a little bit of dirt in it. So just, oh, my arm is sore. You know, that's real jab because my arm is sore. I know I got it because my arm is sore. You know, just money, eh? I would hope to think that that's the case. And while all this shit's going on, and I just wrote down Ukraine, Russia, Iran, Israel. While all of this fantastical Hollywood shit show is going on, there's real saber rattling, in my opinion, going on the borders of certain countries. Now, in the Belarus, Ukraine, Russia area. Now, Iran and Israel don't border each other, but look at Iran. Look at Iran, and look at what's around it. You know, I think they have one little snippet of shit, like part of their country at the very north, I think, that touches either China or Russia. But everything else is like Iraq, Afghanistan, I think Pakistan. I could be wrong. I'm going from memory from that. Oh yeah, network. Yeah. Yeah. Bread and circuses, man. Oh shit. Just bear with me. Trying to get comfortable. It's like, anyway. So while all this nonsense is going on, we've got Ukraine, Russia, Iran, and Israel. And what I've been reading about Iran and Israel is that I'm of the opinion that there are technologies out there right now that are impeding the progress of the all-out World War III. I'm of the opinion that certain countries, it's at all possible, have a certain thing that is like, for like, the other guys are going like, oh shit, wait, hang on. We just found out that they've got a cloaking device. I'm just going to, you know, so we need to think, because if we go in, we're going to lose. Everybody wants to be the winner. So you want to, if you're going into a fight or something, you want to think or know that you have something on the other guy that he doesn't know about. One of your moves or something, your trademark, whatever. It'd be the same thing. So it's at all possible that there could be a technology that's holding this at bay. But I can promise you, once whomever or whatever figures it out, the shooting will start. It's just a matter of time right now. I think we're just feeling Russia and China are talking. You know, a lot of things are going on, but while the distraction is going and everybody's worried about the Kens and Karens at the park and the guy who's not wearing a mask at Baskin Robbins, real shit is going on that's real. And like this nonsense has nothing, it's just a distraction. And that's the unfortunate part. Because I don't know why I just got on this. I was listening to Ben Davidson, Suspicious Observers, who I take with a grain of salt, as I do with, Dutch Sense and all of the other guys who talk about weather and the planet. But he made reference, he was talking about like, hey, Joe, like have me on your show. And I'm like, oh, Joe, he was making reference to Joe Rogan. And I'm like, okay, whatever, and then he talked about, I read a book, called The Story of Adam and Eve, or the Adam and Eve story, whatever you want to call it, by Chan Thomas. And I was like, I had never heard of this story. When I said Adam and Eve, I was like, oh, okay, another another 10 Commandments or something. But it wasn't that at all. What it is Chan Thomas is a cataclysmologist. Say that 10 times in a row. And he basically published a book in 1960, if memory serves, which the CIA promptly shit-canned for 50 years. Now, what I'll say is when it was the ban was lifted off the book was 2010, pre-Nibiru scare, and the book basically talks about crustal displacement, liquefaction, pole shift, whatever you have it, tsunamis, Atlantis, all that stuff. So when I see the distraction going on, and when I know that the sun or the earth goes through natural cycles. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to happen. What I'm saying is it's very suspect. Now, came out in 2010 when all the Nibiru scare was coming on. Now we've got this again coming now. Then we've got another kind of mini scare coming that asteroid scares, sun scares, stuff like that. But it's at all possible. I think we should really pay attention to that. I can't say for sure. I have make no affirmation that it's going to happen, but I'm only about a third into the book right now. I have to read it and give you an opinion on it. But it's at all possible that, because don't forget, they're not going to tell you. If anything is going to go on, if anything is going to happen, they're not going to tell you. Nobody's going to inform you that, hey man, really like bad thing is coming. Yeah, you might have some indications like tornadoes and stuff. You have watches and alerts, but for the big stuff, I don't think so. That's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. Oh. Yeah, market is down, up and down, winter crash. They're ready, because don't forget, right now, everybody's psychology is right on the ragged edge, right? It's right on the ragged edge. It won't take much. Sorry, I thought I heard something outside my security camera. We've had a lot of thievery in town with the drugs and everything, and people getting caught. Like it's gone. It's epidemic in a small town like this. It's gone epidemic. Like it's almost every night. It's getting crazy. Like people are right on the ragged edge right now. Tempers are thin. People are starting to lose their jobs. Winter coming. And if anything, because when you're down, that's when they're going to kick you the most. You know that. Because when you're down, more hardship, then they'll say, hey, let's carrot. You see, it's pretty simple. Pretty simple. That's just me. And what else do we got? Okay, we're talking the markets, Russia. I don't know. I wrote this all, but I'm like, if they think that it's a mental, like if you complain about adverse reactions right now, that they're telling you that it's all psychosomatic, that it's all in your head. Now, if that isn't the most stupid thing, like it's all in your head, it can't be. You're actually having physical reactions to it. So I'm wondering about why would they say such a thing? It's all in your head. More often than not, it's just more distraction. Because what it does is that if you get a little snippet to somebody, either side, no matter what the little snippet is, if there's a little nugget of possibility of truth in it, they're going to grab it. They're going to hold with it and they're going to go with it. That's how I've been caught out on many things when I've seen something. It's got a nugget of truth in it, so I'll go with it. Then I'll realize that I've been duped, and this was a total nothing burger, and then I've been suckered. So we got these things coming on. You know, it's all in your head. You know, it's all psychology. It's all psychology because and I'll just segue into the Jussie Smollett case. Yeah. Dead cat bounces. Are you talking about dead cat bounce? The Jussie Smollett case. It's absolutely 100% proven that this guy, he's a hoaxer, liar, shithead, scumbag. Okay. You know, you can tell the Nigerians are going to, you know, I'm the victim and everything like that. But if you'll notice is that the people that are behind him are still like they've doubled down. So yeah, everybody, like, if that isn't proof positive that a little nugget, any little bit of thinking they might think is the truth, they're going to go and they're going to double it and they're going to hang on to it. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, and once again, the media is the problem. Yeah, the media is the problem. And that's the thing. They want to fight. They want us to be like literally going out and hunting you know, I'm just going to say that. I'm not saying it's exactly the truth, but you'll see what they're turning us, they're pitting us against each other. Drawing at the emotion because it's the easiest thing to do. I fall victim to it every day. I have to be very careful. You know, read something, and then I got to check that. I've got my hackles up. It's done for a reason. I got to verify that. Why did it do it? The title, the clickbait, I notice that a lot right now. It's a lot of clickbait. It's a lot, you know, the title is enough just to get you into it. And then, you know, then it gets your emotion up and then you just find yourself bubbling over when you see the 80-year-old grandmother getting her head smashed in by German police. You're like, what the? You know, yes, all designed. Because while you're fighting the cops, while the plebes or the slaves or the plebs or whatever you call it fighting each other, you know, they're in their castles laughing their asses off. And that's the thing. Once again, though, I'm only saying this out of opinion and how I'm hypothesizing with you guys. We have to be smarter and we have to be guerrilla in our action. We can't take on the system head to head. You're going to lose. 1976, yep. That's, was that, you're talking Network? The movie Network? Yeah. Yeah, we're only human. But it's really hard to be a good human when you're inundated with bullshit every day, being lied to every day. I mean, I don't have to argue with you guys, the people that are here in this channel, that, you know, we know what's what and who's who in the zoo, you know. Statistics and numbers alone says that whatever's going on is not factual or in any, it's not based in any kind of reality. It's a narrative that's being followed. It would be the same as if we were like hunting unicorns right now and we're going to get those unicorns, you know, or the Yeti or whatever, you know, we're going to get it. And, you know, the narrative carries the story forward. You know, they're hunting him in Iceland. We got video, got eyewitness testimony, you know, what a show. And I just wanted to talk about one thing, and this isn't fear porn or anything. I read something, I want to talk about it. Pilots dying and athletes dying? Okay. Now, from what I've read about the shot and the possibility of side effects for some, and I see this happening, but I see the narrative saying, well, no, that's not it at all. But it's actually happening. So I'm like, okay, where's the truth somewhere in this? We know it's been put out. I mean, I haven't seen anything about the pilots now. I haven't seen video, but I have seen videos and testimonials from professional clubs, whether it be soccer, rugby, you know, blah, 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 that are saying that, hey, yeah, something's going on with our young men. It's possible that this could happen. But everybody's just poo-pooing and saying, no, it's all in your head. You're crazy. It's all in your head. You've got dysphoria syndrome. You think you're a turnip. It's all in your head. It's all in your head. But we see it and we're reading it. Now, I can't say anything about the pilots. I've read some, but I haven't read any testimonials. You haven't seen like a whole bunch of pilots, laying down on the deck, but you do see a lot of athletes, rugby players and such like that. I have to believe the reports. From what I've read and all the testimonials, I'll have to say that that's an actual thing. Pilots, I can't say because I haven't seen anything really concrete or a whole bunch. I've seen some, it was a great thing that there was a pilot on board because this guy became sick and I've seen some stories like that. Some, but I've seen a lot more athletes. That's all I can say about that. So we need to look into that. But they don't want to. Hey, right. Hey there, Lawrence. Wow. What is it? Okay, and here is a question. I want to ask you a question. Is Wacky Jen Psaki a psychopath or a sociopath? Because when I listened to her defend, and I should say, yeah, of course, they're the 3 to 4% of the people who that's why they can do what they're doing. But anyway, when she actually sat up there and said it was okay to freeze children outside in some schoolyard, I saw the video, I'm like, oh, that's pretty frigged up. So I'm like, and if you can actually, like, wow, with a straight face and that wry smile of hers, W-R-Y, wry smile, I think she is either an android, like a really badly put together one, or like just a sociopath, psychopath, because like with a straight face. It's like I remember listening to the pretty little blonde thing that was Trump's secretary or whatever it was, and like it was funny to watch her talk, but to me she didn't strike me as a psychopath or a sociopath. But Psaki does for some reason. I'm just asking, do you think she's I spoke to him. There are cardiac events. Yeah, and that's another thing I heard that I don't know if it was Boris or not. You can correct me if you want, Limsky, but boosters forever now. Like, because now the narrative is saying that the vaccines, plural, that you've been administered are not good against the Omicron. I don't know why. It's just a variant of the same virus, so it should be fine, especially if the virus is weaker. Bullshit on the story, of course, but now they're saying, well, we're going to have booster because of this nasty. And I've talked to a lot of people who were good and said, like, they belly, and I was with them, like, yeah, they got their first 2, and now they're saying, okay, now you're full of shit. Now you've crossed the line because this is what you said initially, and now it's every week you're going to change your mind. I have a lot of people that have been double jibbed, and they're like, this is bullshit. I did what you asked me to do. And Jordan Peterson, the same thing. I got my double jabs. Now leave me alone. Like, what is wrong with you people? And Peterson said it perfectly. They take an inch, you bitch and moan, they take another inch, then you get your inch back, but they've already taken 2 inches. So you only got 1. You see what I'm saying? It's going to be incremental. She's not human, bro. Yeah, anyway, I don't want to get into personal attacks. She's not my kettle of fish. We'll just say that much. I wouldn't be, she was in a bar, she'd be the last one I'd be asking to dance. Yeah, I'm looking into Novavax. I seriously am looking at Novavax. I've been following Novavax. I've been looking at their trials. I've been like looking at everything, and I'm like, okay, if it comes to pass that I may have to, because they're going to literally whatever, this is one that I could possibly take and be comfortable with taking. That's today. We'll see what happens when it comes to pass, because if they say that 2 ain't enough, that it's going to be forever, then it's an absolute no on all of them, because they're changing the rules of the game. If you show up for baseball and you hit a home run, he says, no, you're wearing a white sock. It's no good. You're out. You're like, what? I'm playing by the rules. Yeah, well, we changed them. You. Ha ha ha. You know, and that's what it is. That's what it is. And I tell you, Limsky, there's a lot of people here now that were faithful and good, and they're like, no, 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 no. You said this. Now you're changing the game. So no. And then they're going to find themselves in with the great unwashed again. I don't know how it's going to play out, but that's how the narrative is going. You know what's the worst part? My wonderful massage gun that I've got. I can't get it to the spot where I need to get it because I'm not a freaking orangutan and my arms aren't 6 feet long. I wish I was, you know. You know, sometimes it's worth it to have a partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever your fancies floats your boat. Yeah, if and once again, like anybody who, like with the flu shot, my mother was religious with the flu shot, and I want her to get the flu shot because she's compromised. Okay, and when she gets the flu, even with the flu shot, she gets beat down hard. So you know, she's one that has to take this. She's over 80. Anybody under 30, in my opinion, doesn't need this shot. Me, maybe. I'm almost 60. I could be in that demographic, but I feel that I'm healthy enough that I, you know, that I shouldn't be. And I have no affliction. I take no medicine. Like I am not diabetic. I have no, I don't know. If I drop dead tomorrow, well, we'll see what happens. You know, they'll do an autopsy. Shadow, hey buddy, how you doing? Good to see you all. How do you guys know I'm live? Does it come? Does it notify you, or does it just you guys just come and check because you know I'm doing a show on Wednesday? Just curious because a lot of the times like things will be live, but I won't get notifications. Like Daryl, like if you're watching or if you watch this later, I never get notified if you're live, bro. It has to be like I go and then I see that I in all my feeds. But when it, as a notification, like a little thing, it says Daryl's live. No. Monty, yes. Monty, I get a notification that he's live. Yeah. 60, yeah. Year and a half, I'll be 60. Feeling pretty good. My shoulder's screwed up. I had to get all needled and everything. But as coming in on my 60th birthday, I've got normal shit that's wrong with me now with creaky bones, not as strong as they used to be, certain things. But generally, I feel pretty good. Not as as I should be in better shape though, even because I know the level of fitness that I can be at. So right now, I'm just saying I'm running about 75%, which is okay. You get on your phone, eh? Oh, there's a question. Shreg, has the world gone completely app crazy? Because I don't have a phone. I don't own a laptop. I have a laptop, which is what's running this. I have 2 desktops, and I have an old iPhone 4 that's in a drawer over there. It's hooked up to Messenger, and it gets messages when I hear it go ding. That means I got something on Facebook. But I can't put any apps on it because every time I go to try and do an app, it's that your phone is a piece of shit. You can't do this. So I wanted to do remember I got the piano, right? So I want to do Simply Piano. So I talk to people, hey, Simply Piano, man, it's really good. It's really easy. And I'm like, oh, great. So I go online, right? I go Simply Piano. And it's like, oh, for your Android, your iPhone. I go, well, no, I don't have one of those. I want it on my PC. So I go Simply Piano for PC. And what it is I have to download some kind of thing from my laptop so that what it does is it takes the app and it converts it so I can play it on my laptop. And I'm like, why don't you just have a program that works for the laptop? Or like where's your EXE, bro? Where's your application? Like a lot of my programs aren't through they're the program on the computer. I want to install it in the computer. Why don't you have that? Why is it some like little button that I have and when I do it on the laptop, the interaction is not so great because it's not a phone and I can't punch my screen. I have to use a mouse. So it's really weird. So I'm thinking that everything is appy. Yeah. Well, if we don't use it, we lose it. So as long as I can hike, I can go in the woods, I can firefight, I can do road rescue. Like if I can do those things, and I just joined the SARS, I'm good. I don't have to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Ow. Why am I stupid? Ow. Anyway, I don't need to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. I just want to be in good shape so I don't have a heart attack and die. Yeah. Yeah. I know, eh? Isn't and I'm old school, man. I I think I'm just gonna have to die off, or go in the woods somewhere with a garden plot, and just live. I don't know. I'm just such a dinosaur, man. I want to change and be with everything, but some of the shit is so stupid. Cool. I heard that musician is good, but I signed up for Simply Piano and I already paid for it, so I'm going to go with that. Even though it's a shitty app, I think I'm just going to have to, delete my cache all the time and make it think that I'm a new person every time, because right away I got frustrated with it yesterday because I'm trying to learn C, D, and E, and then it gets to D, and then it locks, and it won't show me the E. Then it goes to the next lesson, and I'm already over to F and G, and I'm like, crap, man, I need E. I need to learn E. Anyway, that's personal bullshit. Oh, yeah, held hand. Yeah, yeah. Wow, eh? And like just an observation, and to me, the WX, the weather, the weather patterns have been going crazy since the summer. And it seems to be over the years, it's kind of moving exponentially into weirdness, because literally they have been absolutely batshit wrong on every calculation or forecast that they've done here. And I know that weather is an anomaly and that it changes, but when you tell somebody that they're going to get a foot of snow, the storm is coming, red screen of death on your computer, and nothing happens, something went wrong. Something happened. You can't, I could understand it, if it was a bit of snow or if it had rained a lot or whatever, but it seemed that just for whatever reason, there was a bubble of goodness around the cusp, and it didn't happen. It did not happen. Yeah, and I agree with you, Archie. Like I can go all the way back, but I don't know. It's because my alertness is my awareness is heightened or whatever. But and even all of us, we were all like, okay, what's going on? Like, why didn't it snow? And then they just say, well, we got bypassed. Okay, well, was there a high pressure system? Did something happen or whatever? Like, I don't know. I'm not a weatherman, but there's got to be an explanation. You know, it's not just Terry Garr in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It's just one of those things. It's just one of those things. Yeah, you were telling me, yeah. It was 7 degrees yet. Like that's not. We get those days, but it was a weird 7. And I can promise you, if that sun had come around the clouds, like the clouds just seem to be perfectly positioned on them. That's just a paranoid thing to say, but the other day when I was out and the sun came through, I was like, whoa, that has energy pimping off of it. Like it is hot. I can feel it burning. So anyway, I'm just saying it. Just saying it. I'm not making any affirmations, but a couple of people and I, like, we're in the mountains here, right? And I've only been here 10 years, but I've noticed that, in the winter, because I would always be here till about January. So I always be here till the solstice. Then I'm going to go to Ecuador. It was very dark. By the time the 21 of December came around, it was pitch. By 4 o'clock, it was pitch. Are we wobbling? Is that what's causing the problems on the planet? Because it seems now that it's lighter later. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's an observation. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that's saying that. They're like, wow, it should be dark right now. Why can't I still see the blue sky? Just a hint, maybe a half hour off. And because we know a planet wobble, maybe that's what's causing all this shit. I don't know. You have onions, man. We have this much snow outside. That's it. That's it. Let's see what happens. Supposedly, if we're going to go by all the narratives, if we want to put it all together in one big pile, we're going to know between now and 2030, we're going to know everything. And if anything, it won't matter a hill of beans what you do after that, because the planet and the sun are going to decide everything, in my opinion. That's just me. I think everything else is just a distraction, just to get us talking about Seinfeld when we should be talking about the sun. I could be wrong. Oh yeah, Psaki Wacky Psaki. Yeah. And this tells me that they don't care about the future right now, because what they're doing is they're borrowing, they're screwing the future so badly. It tells me that our future is going to be different. It's like we used to be like that in the Navy. Don't worry about that. That department's going to be gone anyway. Just do it. Just doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That will be done. That will be over. That will be gone. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what because in 2 months, Mount Everest is going to be a lake. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't go hiking there because it doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. I think that all of the stuff, it just doesn't matter. The planet is going to decide what it's going to do. It doesn't matter. Oh yeah, Israel, Iran, yeah, Israel. Israel's been saying that they're looking for the first strike option. I can pray that saner heads prevail. I've been to Israel. I've been to the Middle East. It won't go well. That's all I can say. And it will carry over. Then that's what I'm wondering. Remember through our history that things start elsewhere and then it carries over, and then it happens elsewhere. So it's just like the start. The first domino. I know that's pretty pathetic to say, but it's just like that. Somebody kills that guy over there. They hear about it here. That gets happened, and this happens, and this happened, and that happened. Then all of a sudden, it's all over but the crying, and everybody's suddenly like, "Well, how the hell did this get started?" Same thing we're asking ourselves right now. How the hell did we get to this point? How the hell did we get to this point? Jordan Peterson was having a video about that. How the hell did we get to this point? I just remember that because he was saying this. He was asking the same question. Little by little. You'll notice too that they did that. They would overstep and they would bring back right away because they know that, it's too much. Same thing with you look at a lot of the mandatory vaccines for children being pulled back right now. You watch. It's all psychology. Tried and true, over time tested. And over the last, in my opinion, 150, probably 200 years, it's been consolidated. These are long-term goals. We are on a path. The narrative is going forward. It doesn't matter if you show them that unicorns are fake. It doesn't matter. We're going hunting unicorns. That's the way it is. And I'll just say this right now. Biden is losing his mind. I'm not going to say he's senile. I don't know that, but he should not be president of the United States of America. Yeah. The overview effect on Y2 that I remember. I don't remember you recommending that because the title is completely vague to me. Unless it was a long time ago and I can't even remember. I apologize, but I will be checking it out now. Because I'm reading the story of Adam and Eve, or the Adam and Eve story by Chan Thomas. And there was one other that I found that I forget the title. I'm studying our history, is what I'm studying right now. That's what I'm looking at, our history. Yeah. Go to Mars. And I was thinking about that too, and I'm just going to say this in reference to the Chan Thomas novel. If you could hide off Earth for a week, it would be a good thing. I don't think you could be flying around in a jet because of the wind. I don't think a boat's going to happen because, if there's a tsunami that's 2 miles high and you're in this part of it, you're in the world of shit. So I'm just right out of my ass. I'm pulling that stuff and I'm just going with what Lawrence wrote, that, like we see the Musk just going batshit crazy and Bezos with their space stuff, and it's exponential. Like, they're going forward. It doesn't matter if the Langoliers are right behind them. They're going forward, and that's what it is. Right behind them, and they're just moving quickly. Everything else doesn't matter. So whatever's coming is coming. So there's nothing we can do about it. If the sun and the earth are in charge, We're us little pesky fleas on this planet don't matter a hill of beans. Sure, we could be dirty and throw plastic in the ocean or anything, but the sun and the planet are in charge. We are nothing. We are nothing to Mother Nature. Look at Kentucky. You know, it just got shit beat down by Mother Nature, and Mother Nature didn't give a shit. You know, be centered in your soul, in your spirit. I think that's the most important part right now is to work on your heart. That's just me. And more to tell that they don't care and they don't give a shit what they're saying is when I look at shit like this SNL skit and I'm like, it's like Sodom and Gomorrah, like everything is allowed now. Like it's like New Zealand just said you can have orgies up to 25 people. Like it's absolute Sodom and Gomorrah debauchery in my opinion. Yeah, I'm an uptight conservative. So yeah, okay, everything I am uptight. Yeah, okay, you put a lump of coal up my ass, you get a diamond in a month, just like ha ha ha, Ferris Bueller. But I think that they've pushed it past the limit because they really like they're just being allowed to do anything, like literally say anything, do anything on that side. You counter it, we'll see what happens. But it's just absolutely insane. The narrative is absolutely insane. So it tells me that, or it makes me feel that, yeah, they don't care about the future because there isn't going to be a future that we think is going to be. It'll be a different future. That's all. I'm just talking from my heart. Nothing more than that. And I'll just segue into one of the last things I wanted to talk about is that when I like with the swimming debacle that we just saw that happened, they're young. Oh yeah. Oh, nothing beats and Kids in the Hall, the old Kids in the Hall with the Canadian SCTV. Kids in the Hall, a Canadian show, great stuff. Great stuff. SNL of old back in the 70s and 80s. Gilda Radner, Eddie Murphy, Bill Murray, Garrett Morris. Awesome show. Today, I tried to watch a bit of it, and I tried to watch this guy named Jimmy Kimmel. Holy F. The only reason these people have a platform is because they're allowed to do whatever they want, and the money's being thrown at them because that's the distraction. I mean, I can't believe this guy named Jimmy Kimmel actually fills an audience with people to listen to his shtick. He's shit. He's not funny. I don't even know what to say. Bill Burr is funny because he talks about his life. Jimmy Kimmel just bitches and whines and moans about other people. Oh, Kids in the Hall, man. You see, and I used to love Kids in the Hall. I can't remember the names of the characters. Damn it. One guy became really popular. He went out to great. A whole bunch of them were really good, actually, to be honest. Kevin McDonald. Damn it. My memory's gone. But the one who played the homosexual that did all the really overtly homosexual things was so funny. You probably couldn't do that today. Or you could, but it would be really tame. But, oh, man. So it tells me that, it doesn't matter. The narrative is absolutely stupid, insane. Because right away I'll just segue, and I mean no disrespect to somebody who's having issues with their personal makeup. But when you take a dude and allow him to compete against women, even though he's called a girl, like I'm just talking about the swimming incident right now that's just happened in the swimming world. It's all over the place. And this guy, girl, kicked the piss out of these swimmers. Like a 38-second interval in a swimming competition. It's like as if, like an adult was swimming against a 5-year-old, basically, or a 10-year-old or whatever. I did swimming. So I know the intervals are like, just fractions, right? So when you're doing that, you're like, okay, this is completely whack. But that tells me that whatever's coming is going to all of this shit don't matter a hill of beans because we know it's insane. Okay? You can't have a man compete against a woman and have it call it fair just because he calls himself a girl. I'm sorry if that pisses people off. I really am. Yeah. I'm sorry, but it's reality. I can remember, and I'll tell it from my own experience, from my own life experience when I was younger. Dudes, I looked like a girl. Like I had blonde, white hair. I was very slight in my build, thin hips, stuff like that. So when I walked around with normal clothing on, with my long blonde hair and my very pointed features, Oh, and it was in Quebec. Oui, est-ce que je peux vous aider, ma petite fille? And I would just be like, bonne fille, esti. I'm a boy. You know, and I get real, but I was constantly inundated with it, constantly, you know. So, you know, but I was never really confused because I knew I had a Winky, and it was explained pretty early where the Winky went. And that's all I can say about that. But I don't know what's going on now. I can, and I'll say this, and I'm sorry, and it's not a hateful thing. I think it's a mental issue personally. That's just my personal opinion. I could be wrong. I'm not a doctor. But when I see, what I can say in all fairness is that when a man competes against a girl, he's going to win. Like, you know, and there's certain instances like where maybe tennis or golf or, you know, like even in martial arts, you know, like maybe if the, you know, like I've gone up against black belts when I was a lower belt, you know, I held my own, but I still got, you know, when that girl brought that leg up, I knew it. So, you know, I don't know if it had been too black, if I'd have been a black belt. I don't know. I don't know. What I'm saying is what that was just crazy. So that's all I'm saying about that. I know that may be politically correct because, you know, I don't know what to say about this subject. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to come off as being a hater, but I don't hate people. I don't care if you're born with polka dots. I don't give a shit. How are you on the job? How are you as a person? Are you shitty when you drink? Do you beat women? Do you put animals to death? Those are my basic questions to find out whether I want to be your friend or not. I don't care if you drive a Lada. I don't care if you are a homosexual or transgender. I don't care. What I'm telling you is men who are competing against women is unfair. That's it. That's all I'm saying about that. And just to end, because we're at an hour. Wow, this one went really long, eh? I'm of the opinion that there's entities on the planet or groups that may have some tech that is prolonging the execution or the execution of the lever so that the shit will hit the fan. Like anything, it's almost like when you're doing an operation, you're waiting for a perfect time, dark moon, you know, flat sea, stormy sea, like the criminality that was happening the other night, that was happening in town. The criminals waited for an opportune moment when we did have a snowstorm, and they went out during the storm because, and when I did my criminality in Montreal before I went in the military, and I was an opportunistic smash and grab asshole. Yeah, it was, you know, stormy, shitty nights where nobody wants to be out. The cops don't even want to get out of their car. That's when you go and you do your ops. So the same thing's going to happen when they want to pull the lever. They're going to pick the perfect time. That's why for us, we need to watch, you know, look at all the information. Okay, when do you think the perfect time could be? I can promise you it's going to be within the next 7 years. That's all I know. It happen tomorrow, but I'll revert to scripture always. You won't know the day. It'll be like a thief in the night, in my opinion. It'll just happen. Ow, fuck. Ah. Oh, anyway, I'm gonna end the video there. My back is just killing me. It's driving me crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I don't care. Like, and that's the thing too. Like, I remember being in Liberia, and I was there a year before I was introduced to, like, because we were like, I was going to a different school at first, but then when we went to the high school, like, you got introduced to adult people, like people who had attitudes already, and that's where I was like, wow, that guy's garbage. The guy that picks up my dirt and garbage outside is better than that guy. You know, that's all I know. It has nothing to do with it's who you are, like your actions, not your words. You know, your actions over words. Yeah. Yeah, the crazies are running. The sociopaths are running things. That's why we think it's so crazy, because we're normal. When a psycho, like, you know, it's like Mirror Mirror with Star Trek. When the lunatics showed up at the good Enterprise, they went, holy crap. Holy crap. You know, they could be identified right away. We can see it. The others can't, but whatever reason, we can see it. And we're like, holy crap. Those people are crazy. They're psychopaths. They're dangerous. Now we got to figure out how to take their power. When we figure that out, it'll be great. Shouldn't be long. Shouldn't be long. Let's hope. Okay. As with everything with these videos, take what you want, leave the rest. You know, like, not everything I say is for everybody. You know, I have my colorful opinions and my colorful language. But what I notice is that we're talking here, and that's the best part. That's the best part. We're having dialogue, and that's the best part. Because out there, ain't happening. Ain't happening. Doubling down, even on both sides. On both sides. Okay. So nothing for Friday. I've got. Hopefully my back is better because tomorrow I have to help somebody put a floor in. Yay. We'll try for Friday. No promises. Check 11 on Friday. If you see it, it's there. If not, because I think things are going to be moving exponentially, so we're going to have to talk more. And what I may do is if I can't do like a live, like Wednesday, Friday, what I'll start doing is do recorded videos. Wednesday will always be live, but there'll be thrown in some recorded videos in the mix. Okay? So we'll try that. So anyway, peace to you and yours. I hope you have a great weekend. It's coming up. Supposed to be good here. We had our firefighter party. It was it was great. It was bedlam, which is always good. Nobody got hurt. Nobody got killed. That's always amazing. And all the sober people, we had a call during the party, and all the sober people had to run out and do it, which was pretty fun. So, but it was a nothing burger. But anyway, you guys have a good one. We'll talk to you on the flip side. Peace to you and yours. Peace, love, and grooviness.